told that success comes from setting big goals. But here's the hard truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Today, we're fixing the machine that actually runs your life. Up to now, we've defined what we want and what actions to take, but an action plan without a system is still just a wish. Today is about the systems that make actions happen. Systems are simply how you do things, your habits, routines, defaults, and even mindsets. Most of them were built unconsciously, and that's why they're so powerful. We are using these invisible systems to do everything that we do each and every day. Our systems produce the outcomes in our life. When a system is good, making progress feels natural. But if a system is weak, making progress feels like a battle. Completing a task may achieve an outcome once, but only a strong system will produce lasting and repeatable outcomes. Here's a clear example. I have a goal of having my house not be so cluttered anymore, and I'm making my plan for the week, so I put down the next area that I need to declutter on my task list. And now that I've completed it, the table in the entryway is neat and clean just the way I want it to stay, so my task is done. But time goes by, and what's going to inevitably happen? I didn't even look at my systems to understand how it was even getting cluttered, let alone preventing it. So, the clutter just comes back. Tasks have their place, but we must engage our systems and make the needed changes in order to change our outcomes and sustain our progress. In order to improve our systems, we need to examine them and figure out exactly what we need to change. If we attempt to document all of our systems at once, we might start by putting ourselves in the center and then identifying all the different areas our systems support and adding all the little different habits and routines and the subsystems that support multiple areas and all the interactions. But we're not going to do that. We don't need to examine all our systems, just the ones that need to be improved. You need to understand the systems that support the goals you're working toward and the ones that are holding you back. These are the most common ways systems are mapped. These tools are helpful if we need a bit of reinforcement to stay consistent with the system or have added new habits. They are also helpful when more than one person uses the system with you to produce a shared outcome, such as your partner, your children, roommates, employees, etc. If a system feels hard, write it down. If it keeps failing, dig into it and keep asking why until you hit the real cause. This is the example from the reverse engineering of the outcome about becoming a first-time homeowner starting from very little savings and very little financial system in place. Here is exactly how I would create and commit to my plan for reaching the 1-year milestones. This is my goal worksheet. I fill out the first page using my future self vision and the reverse engineering of the outcome down to the 1-year milestones. On the second page, I identify any possible obstacles and ways to overcome them. By acknowledging what feels uncertain, difficult, or outside of our control, we're better able to stay the course, even if we later need to adjust the plan. The reverse engineering provided 12 doable actions, but each of those doable actions is usually more than one single action or step when we break them down to actually execute them. So let's go through the first one on the list, track all expenses. With the assumption that there isn't much of a financial system in place, adding this capability to the system would be an obvious step. But since there's also no existing means for recording expenses, no ledger, spreadsheet, or app, experience tells me I need a task to get that established first. Then I can add its regular use to the system. Once that task is complete, I can complete the next step and set up the system change. As I stated earlier, systems are made up of all our habits, routines, defaults, and mindsets. So habits are building blocks of systems. This is a pretty significant piece of what the financial system will become as I work to achieve all the milestones for this goal. I won't be able to establish a budget or determine opportunities to cut costs without successfully tracking my expenses. So I'm going to make this action a habit action, which will trigger my process for monitoring habits and making sure they are sustainable. From here, I'll continue documenting the actions identified from the reverse engineering exercise for this goal, and then repeat the entire process for any other goals I've set. Good, strong systems are essential for achieving our goals and sustaining the outcome. And since good habits are key building blocks for strong systems, we need to define them carefully and commit to their implementation. I follow the method described by James Clear in his book Atomic Habits, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. I created a habit plan that follows this method to document my commitment to my new habit, and it looks like this. When I state what my habit will be, I make it obvious by indicating exactly what, when, and where it is to happen. Reminding yourself why your success is important can also be a good motivator, especially for the things that are new and challenging. I have a daily review that I do at the end of each day with my planner in hand, so I can add a cue to my daily review checklist, and that automatically pairs it with the established routine. I actually feel good about my daily review for closing out my day, so that can make it attractive. Having quick references for coding information, such as the categories, can make recording them easier. Also, doing this daily rather than weekly means doing it more times, but the total time spent will be less because I won't be racking my brain trying to remember what I bought 4 days ago. I thought about ways to make the activity enjoyable, like color coding the categories and things like that, but I'm thinking charts showing an improvement to my financial situation will be the most enjoyable for me. Again, acknowledging that there may be some bumps in the road and capturing ideas for smoothing them out is always a plus. Always allow yourself to learn and adapt your plan accordingly. Now, don't start all your new habits at once. Stagger them out so you aren't overwhelmed by lots of changes all at the same time. And even if I use a tracker on my weekly spread or elsewhere, I like to record my streak data here as well because this allows me to see that information alongside any notes that I may have made. And periodically ask yourself, what is working? What isn't working? What do I need to do more of? What do I need to do less of? Record your observations and then act on your answers. Your systems are the engine behind your goals. When you strengthen the systems that support your future self, you make progress feel lighter and more natural. All of the planner pages that you saw in this video are available as free downloads in the blog post. So if you want to work through this yourself, be sure to check that out. If you have questions about your own systems or ideas or topics you'd like for me to cover next, leave them in the comments. I read them and they'll help shape what comes next on this channel. If this was helpful, please give the video a like. It really does help more people find it. And if you want to keep building systems that support your goals in life, consider subscribing. Until next time, keep planning in a way that fits your life.